Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. We are learning morality. So we have a 10 type of unwholesome deed, right? So Manda, we have a 3 bodily actions: killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, right? So today we will start killing, Pāṇātipāta, right? So we will go in detail, and also the question and answer in the class. Actually, it's a lot of controversial issues regarding with the killing, not only in Buddhism, but also other religions as well, right? A lot of controversial issues. So let's learn about killing, Pāṇātipāta. Here, someone destroying life. As you all know that we have to understand good and bad, right? And avoidance Sila and practice Sila. Something that is bad, it is avoidant. So we have to avoid it. Something which is good, we have to practice, right? So here, Chona Soda mentioned both good and bad, right? Good and bad. But this one is so studying Pāṇātipāta or killing, the negative point of view, right? Here, someone destroying life. So here, according to Buddhism, there's no, there's no restriction just to human being. Any sentient being, right? Any sentient beings. So if you kill life, whether human being or animals, it is killing. And he is murderous, bloody-handed, given to blows and violence, merciless to living beings. So if you have those negative mental state in your mind, so these are connected with the killing, right? Connected with the killing. So actually, by looking at this one, you cannot just take it, just killing, right? It involves negative mental state before you kill, right? Just like a blowing, violent, committing violence, right? Beating. So all these are connected with this Pāṇātipāta, right? Pāṇātipāta. So this is a studying unwholesome action from the negative, right? Negative point of view. Then the Sutta continue. Actually, I combine two, right? I combine two. So if you do unwholesome deed with your body, speech, and mind, so it will, you will be impure, right? You will be impure. So there is a negative part, but if you refrain from them, if you do wholesome things, or whatever you do, you will be pure, right? Pure. So that is the purity and impurity in Buddhism. Here, to study Pāṇātipāta, so I combine two, both positive and negative point of view, right? So this one is a positive point of view. Here, someone have been abandoned distraction of life, abstain from destruction of life. No killing. With the rod and weapon laid aside, so not using any weapon, any stick or rod, anything, right? So you are not using, you are not threatening with the weapons, right? If United States is threatening another small country, right? It involves, right? It is included in the killing, right? A type of killing. Here, with the rod and weapon laid aside, conscientious. So that is very important in Pali. Lichi. Lichi means, how to say, shame of doing unwholesome things, right? A shame of doing unwholesome things, and also fear of doing doing wrong things, right? And then in Bidama we call it hiri and ottappa, right? Hiri means shame, to do unwholesome things, right? And ottappa means so the fear to do unwholesome things, right? Unwholesome things. It is very important. So that for that reason, the Buddha said that hiri and ottappa are guardian of the world, right? So if you have hiri ottappa and shame and fear of doing wrong things, so I think the world will be guarded, right? The world will be very peaceful. Here, kindly and compassionate toward all living beings. Compassionate toward all living beings. If you have compassion and loving kindness, so that is a positive mental state, right? So you are likely not to kill or not to harm any sentient beings, right? Any sentient beings. So this is a positive point of view. So not to kill, not to destroy, and to refrain from killing and destroying life, right? So I think we have to understand in this way. So this is a how to say, the summary of the first rule, right? Among the five Sila, right? Okay, so this is a positive and negative point of view. So regarding with the killing, in Gotra Nikaya, Sutta chapter 3, Sutta number 163, talk about the criteria or factor of killing, right? So in this Sutta, the Buddha said that bhikkhus, one possesses of three qualities, is deposited in hell as if brought there. So if you have these three qualities, so you will go to hell, right? As if you are driving there, right? So what three? One, destroying life, oneself. So you kill by yourself, right? So one criteria. It's also a type of killing. And second one, encourages others to destroy life. So here, if you encourage other people to kill or to beat or to harm other people, so it's considered Pāṇātipāta, right? Pāṇātipāta. And approve of the destruction of life. That is very important. So you agree to do that, right? Suppose you're trying to commit killing or destroying life or harming sentient beings. You're doing with the group, then you approve and you agree on that, right? Also you involve killing or destruction life, right? So I think these are three criteria what the Buddha taught. I think based on those discourses, the commentaries elaborate, right? The factors of committing killing, right? Committing killing. So if you look at here, you kill yourself and you encourage others to kill or to harm or to beat, right? And also you agree to do that. You give your consent or agreement, right? So I think that this is a, when you look at this one, I think the Buddhist concept of precept is a, how to say, all-inclusive, right? There's no excuse, right? There's no excuse. Okay? Then let's go. So based on so what the Buddha taught in the suttas, the commentary mentioned 5 factors or 5 components of committing killing. So if you have these 5, so you are committing killing, right? Number 1, must be a sentient being, right? If you cut the tree, it's not Pāṇātipāta. It's not a joke, it's not, it's serious. You know, as a Buddhist monk, we have a one rule that we are not allowed to cut the trees, right? The Buddha laid down the rule. So the reason is at the time of the Buddha, one of the monks cut the trees. So the guardian spirits living in that tree was killed because of his action. So his mother approached to the Buddha and informed about that. For that reason, the Buddha laid down Vinaya rules not to cut the trees. So that is a background story. That is background story. But I think that it connected with the Indian the opinions of Indian people, I think, right? Even right now, many Indians believe that, and even some of the people in the West, right? They believe that the tree also have life, right? So if you cut the tree, they know it and they feel it, right? Some of the trees, if you approach that trees, they can feel, right? They can feel it. For that reason, some of the people believe that the trees also have a life, right? Life faculty. So actually, according to Buddhism, the trees are not sentient beings, right? Sentient beings. But of course, as a lay devotee, you can cut and you can do whatever you want, right? But actually, as a Buddhist monk, the Buddha trying to look at opinion or local people, especially at the time, Indian people, right? If the people complain something, the Buddha will pay attention to that. Sometimes the Buddha laid down the Vinaya rules, right? So for that reason, before the Buddha passes away, and the Buddha said that if the community of Sangha want, they can change the small rules, right? Small rules. So that is a, how to say, for that reason, Mahayana, they try to change Vinaya rules, listening to the Buddha. But I think some of the minor rules, it doesn't matter. But Theravada, they try to follow, they decided that, so many lay devotees at the time, they already know rules and regulations. For that reason, the participant of the first Buddhist council, they decided not to change the Vinaya rules and also not to add any new rules, right? So they maintain status quo. For that reason, Theravada, they're very strict, right? They're very strict. So anyway, the Buddha did allow to change the minor Vinaya rules if the community of Sangha want, right? Maybe somewhat just like cutting the trees, right? So cutting the trees in Singapore doesn't matter. But if you follow Vinaya rules strictly, you break the Vinaya rules, right? Okay, so here, if you committing killing, must be a sentient being, right? So if you kill, so here we have some controversial issues. I think next lessons I will discuss about this. So one of the students asked me the question, very challenging question. So I hope that I will be able to answer in my next lessons. So here, 5 criteria must be a sentient beings, right? This is taught by the commentaries, right? But I think this is very important. So the commentary trying to collect all the information from the suttas and Vinaya Pitaka as well, and they formulate, right, 5 criteria. Number 2, knowing as a sentient being. Suppose if you are killing, you must know that he or she must be a sentient being. If you know that this is a tree, or if you know that there's no people, then you incidentally kill it, right? So that means it is not a, we call it not Karmapata, the cause of karma, right? It's not the cause of karma. Knowing as a sentient beings. And number 3, having the thought of killing. So you must have the thought of killing or motivation in your mind. So you must have the thought of killing in your mind. So then only sometimes we incidentally kill sentient beings, right? It's not a committing, it's not a Pāṇātipāta. But I think later I will talk about a little bit of some of the teaching from Jainism. So according to them, they believe that any type of killing is considered as a karma, right? Whether you intentionally do it or without intention, right? But in Buddhism, intention is very important. So the Buddha said that the volition is karma, right? So now number 4, making an effort. Even though you have desire to kill, if you do not make any effort, so it is not committing killing, right? Committing killing. And number 5, actual death of the being due to that effort. It's very important, right? Due to that effort. So in the Vinaya Pitaka, actual death of being, right? Due to that effort. So in the Vinaya Pitaka, so one of the monks gave medicine for abortion. So the baby didn't die, the mother died. So actually, if we kill any type of sentient beings, actually Buddhism said that life began in the mother's womb. So that means if we give the medicine for abortion, right? So that is the biggest offense in the Vinaya Pitaka, right? So that man gave a medicine for abortion, but he intended to kill the baby, but the baby didn't die, but the mother died. Actually, he didn't. He didn't. How to say that? He's not committing parajika, but he is guilty of the 3rd level offense, apati, the 3rd level one. So parajika is the first one, Sangati Sesa is second one, Tonglecha. Tonglecha means a great one, a very grave offense, right? But we can cure it by confessing our brother monk, right? Confessing our brother monk. So, so here in this case, he tried to kill the baby. The baby didn't die, but it's not a parajika, right? But the mother died. So here, so the mother died without any intention, right? Without any intention. So that means you didn't intend to die, to kill the mother, right? For that reason, so if we look at that story, so actual death of being, the last one is not, how to say, not complete, right? For that reason, if being is not killed, it's not called the cause of karma, Karmapata, right? The cause of karma. So I believe that you have, you know the Karmapata, right? The cause of karma. So here, the cause means the cause of the way to wholesome or unwholesome destination, right? So if the being is not die, not killed, it's not called the cause of karma, but it is just wrongdoing. It's a unwholesome action. It is unwholesome action, but not the cause of karma as far as killing is concerned, right? So I think if we look at this one, you will understand it. So these are 5 criteria of killing, right? So there must, it must be a sentient being, and you must know that it is a sentient being, right? Then you have the thought of killing in your mind, or volition or motivation in your mind. Then you make effort, then actual death of the person or beings, right? So if these are 5 criteria completed, it killing, Pāṇātipāta, right? It became the cause of karma. So it will give rise as a Karmapata in this life as well as in this afterlife, right? Afterlife. Any question? Okay.
Can you explain mercy killing?
Okay, actually he asked mercy killing. Later I will come to that. So later I will teach. I will teach. It's very important topics, right? Today we will go to suicide, right? Suicide. What is question? Over there? Can you use microphone?
You know, nowadays the government has been encouraging people to do advanced medical directive. An advanced medical directive basically is yourself making a decision for someone in your family or someone you trust to take you off a life supporting system, if you ever come to that stage. So how do you view this against the Buddhist precepts? Because it's a very real thing. And in fact, family members who are appointed to handle this has to make that decision to terminate the life of a person when he or she is in the state. So I am very keen to know what is the Buddhist perception of that. Because I think in this room, there may be people who have done that before, who has to make decisions like that before. And even ourselves, we may have set up that kind of directive before. So because you don't want the family to suffer, you don't want yourself to continue to suffer when you're already a vegetable. So
okay, I think it's very good question. I also expected those questions. But I think for that reason, there are a lot of issues. We cannot say whether right or wrong, right? But later I will give you, I think as we go along, I think you will understand Buddhist perspective on that. So especially when you look at the Suttas, I think after you learn today, you will understand that, right? Even ourselves, very difficult to decide whether the Sutta said this one or that one, right? Then let me go one step by step, right? So I think those questions will be covered. So it's very important questions. The family have to decide, right? To stop the machine, right? Especially the machine. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he decided, he write the letter, right? Not to give a medical machine support, right? So I think for those questions, it doesn't matter. He himself decided, right? Sometime we need to decide, right? You decide. Yeah. Later, I think it will be covered. It will be covered. Okay, question. Sorry?
Going give rise to karma?
Oh, it's a very good question. What is the difference between the cause of karma and wrongdoings? Actually, in Pali, Docharita and Cakkapala, right? Actually, they are the same, but commentary just differentiate. The cause of karma is very strong. If you commit the cause of karma, it will definitely give rise the result of karma, this life or afterlife, right? But regarding with the Docharita, actually Docharita are the same thing, wrongdoing, but the commentary went to, in this case, if the commentary went to define the wrongdoing or Docharita is a little bit lighter. And suppose we have a 5 criteria of committing killing, right? But if one of them is absent, it is called wrongdoing, Docharita. It's not called the cause of karma. Actually, they are the same, but just want to differentiate the bigger and smaller, right? But one of the Sutta, the Buddha said that if somebody kills, it will entail rebirth in hell, animal realm, and the realm of afflicted spirit, right? But the name of the Sutta is Docharita, right? Docharita. So that means, so the terms, I just follow the what commentary said, right? So just differentiate in this place the cause of karma, so that means very strong. It will on the 100% or 100%, right? So wrongdoing here, maybe about 50% or 75% like this, right? But actually they are the same, just different. So we have a 10 causes of wholesome deed, unwholesome deed, and we have a 10 type of wrongdoings, right? Docharita. The same, they're the same, right? Only in this case. Okay. So let's go. 6 means of killing. So this also, for those who want to read what I have explained, 5 criteria of killing, then you can read the all-embracing natural views, right? So this is a translation of Brahmajala Sutta, Digha Nikaya, Sutta number 1. So not only suttas, but also commentaries. But sometimes the Bhikkhu Bodhi added not only commentary, but also sub-commentaries as well. Very complete, right? So sorry, I didn't bring that one. And then for those of you have a difficulty to read commentaries, right? Commentaries. So in this case, especially for those who want to become a teacher, I think you should have this one, because that's very important. So Brahmajala Sutta explain about different type of Sila. So this Sutta is translated into English. Not only the Sutta, but also commentaries and sub-commentary as well, right? So actually I take it from that book. So here, the commentary mentions 6 means of killing, 6 methods of killing. Actually, I just want to give the idea of Buddhist concept of killing, right? Actually, the commentary just said only 6. It can be more than that. So if you read the Taparajika in the Vinaya Pitaka, you will understand better. For that reason, I want to recommend for those who want to know further, right? You can read the Taparajika. Then I can send, later I will send a soft copy of Vinaya Pitaka, right? Sometimes I quote some of the places. So here, 6 methods of killing. Number 1, killing by oneself with your hand and then that is connected with your hand, right? If you kill by yourself, right? Some of the weapon you use with your hand, right? Just like a knife. So that is the type of killing by yourself, right? Number 2, commanding other to kill. So you're trying to tell other people to kill a particular person or enemies, right? Enemies. So that is considered as a killing, right? So as a Buddhist, we are hesitant to kill, right? Even to the enemies, But I think it is important to understand, not to be too extreme. Later, I will explain some of the teachings of Jainism, which are very extreme. So actually, in this regard, so when we learn vegetarianism, you will understand Buddhism go the middle way, not two extremes, right? So actually, some of the religion they teach the animals are created by the God for the food. So you are perfectly all right to kill them, right? So the Creator God created for you. So it's another extreme, right? But Jainism teaches the other way. So if you go outside, you have to use marks. So that marks, right? You have to use marks, so that you do not kill and see sentient beings, right? If you open your mouth, those sentient beings can go inside. So there are so many. Actually, later I will maybe if I have time, I will teach you. If I do not have time, I will share some of the document, right? So therefore, I think need to understand. Very complicated anyway, but it's very complicated. But I was trying to simplify as much as I can. But some of the the suttas are very subtle and very complicated to explain. So anyway, I will try my best. So here, number 1, killing yourself with your hand, then that is connected with your hand. And number 2, commanding other to kill, right? You encourage, actually in earlier sutta, encouraging other, right? You encourage other to kill. So here, if you look at number 2, involve your speech, right? So even though you use your speeches, it's not a verbal action. It's considered as a bodily action, right? Actually, we use in general. We use in general. Number 3, killing by using mobile weapons such as spears and arrows, right? So actually, it is the same as the number 1, killing by yourself. You use arrow, right, to kill one particular person. And number 4, killing with the stationary devices such as landmines and traps. Any type of killing, right? Suppose you use traps. Someone on the way, the one you do not like, right? Then if that person is killed in the trap, so that means you are committing killing, right? Committing killing. If the man commits such a action, such a unwholesome deed, then he falls to parajika, right? Parajika. Number 5, magical formulas. You try to use magics to kill your enemies, right? To kill somebody. Any type of killing, right? Any type of killing. So there are many people who can perform such magics, right? Black magic, sorry, I should say black magic. Black magic. Especially in Thailand, they believe so much. If something happens, they believe it's because of black magic. Actually, there may be some cases, but as a Buddhist, I think you should believe your actions, right? You should believe your actions. So actually, I have one of my teachers who believe black magic. So whatever happened to him, he believed that it's because of black magic. He will go to the masters who can solve those magic problems. Actually, for that reason, he has many problems. For me, I believe, but I don't care. I don't know about black magic, and also I don't care about it. For that reason, I haven't encountered any attack with the black magic. I think it's very important, right? Very important. So my teacher, actually since he was very young, he believed on them. For that reason, he trying to know, he trying to learn, and for that reason, his mind is, obsessed with that black magic idea. Whatever happened to him, he did that right away. For that reason, nobody want to stay with him. Trying to avoid. But for me, I trying to talk to him. So therefore, he liked me. He even hand over his monasteries. So actually, the place is very far. For that reason, the town is very small. For that reason, I didn't receive it. So I think that what I want to say is those the people who believe black magic and the people who are very weak in terms of physical, also mental, so they will be obsessed with the black magic. If you are strong, both physically and mentally, I think no, right? So anyway, there are some cases, but here, if you look at the last two are not mentioned in the Pali Canon, mentioned only in the commentaries, right? But it is taught in the commentaries. Commentary from this one. So the last one is psychic power. Psychic power, right? Then for those who have a psychic power, they use their psychic power and kill any type of sentient beings, right? So that is called psychic power. So if you look at Upali Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 56. Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta number 56. There is a debate between the Buddha and Upali. So when we talk about the speeches, then I will talk to that Sutta. So in that Sutta, Upali, the disciple of Jainism, Jain founder Mahavira, and he said that bodily action is more harmful than the rest. And the Buddha said that no, mental action is more harmful than the others. The Buddha gave example. Suppose if you kill people, actually they are living in the Nalanda at the time, and the Buddha said that Upali, if you want to kill with your hand, with a knife, how many people can kill in one day? He said maybe 10 people or 50 people or 100. And the Buddha said that for those who have psychic power, he can kill as many people as possible. Even he can kill people in Nalanda in 1 minute. For that reason, mental action is more dangerous than physical action, right? So it's a debate between the Buddha and Upali, right? But here, if you kill any sentient beings with psychic power, actually is involved killing, right? one time at the time of the Buddha, so one of the monks trying to kill Yakka, ogre, right? So actually after killing, before he became a monk, he was, how to say, the master who can drive away evil, how to say, the evil spirit, right? Evil spirit. So when he became a monk, it happened that one of the devotees possessed with the evil spirit, and he trying to kill that evil spirit. And he was suspect that he committed parajika, right? And the Buddha said that no, it is just a tonletia, third level, right? Third level offenses. I mean, what I mean is, if you look at the rules and regulations laid down to the monks and nuns, I think you will understand the nature of rules, or the nature of killing, the nature of taking what is not given. For that reason, I think if you have time, I think I encourage you to read Vinaya Pitaka, not the whole book, only that part, right? Then I will give you the pages, right? And you can read very easy. Okay. So these are 6 types of killing, right? So that means wherever you kill and whatever method you use, if you kill a sentient beings with the intention, right? With the intention, that means Pāṇātipāta, destroying life, right? Destroying life. Then let's talk about karmic effect of killing. So this one also, this is also from commentaries, the commentary of the first Abhidhamma book. Actually, if you look at the commentary, most of the commentaries are the same. So when you read one commentaries and the other commentary also the same. Even the phrase, how the warden, even the warden, they're the same. So here, what I want to say is, by studying, by analyzing teachings of the Buddha in the Suttas and also in the Vinaya Pitaka, commentary trying to summarize. Sometimes the commentary trying to elaborate, right? The meaning. So sometimes those definitions may be wrong, but of course they are the commentaries are very reliable. But we don't need to believe 100%, right? So anyway, after you learn the Suttas, you will understand, right? You can decide what the commentary says, right or wrong, right? So here, karmic effect of killing. So this is from the commentary of the first Abhidhamma book. So that one is translated into English, the Exposita. Translated by a Burmese. He is a Christian. So he translated this, the commentary of the first Abhidhamma book for Pali Society, right? So this is available in the library, right?
But it's not relevant now.
No. For this one, Pin Mountain, a Burmese guy. Okay. So here, the degree of result of killing is different depending on the object, the virtue. Sorry, it's okay. The virtue or defilements or effect, right? Etc. Right? So actually, he just want to show, the commentary want to show just the example, right? So the degree of the consequence of killing depend on the virtue, object, defilements, and effect. So when we learn about karma, later we will learn about karma using some sutta, right? Sometimes we cannot say for sure. For that reason, when the Buddha said that when you kill and when you steal, you might go to hell. The Buddha used the word might. The reason is not 100%. It depends on the people, right? So for that, normally we give one example. One of the guys steal 100 Singapore dollar from a fair price shop, right? Maybe one of the officer may steal 1 million from fair price shop, right? The officer may free from the jail, right? The guy who steal 100 US dollar, Singapore dollar, may go to jail because different, right? So it is what I mean is just giving the example, right? Just giving the example. So there are many conditions to decide, right? The level, the degree of consequences of killing and stealing, etc. Right? Here also, if we decide the degree of the result of killing, it depends object, virtue, defilement, effect, etc. Right? And also we can see the time and the place like this, right? Number one, the object. Killing human beings and killing animals have a different karmic effect, right? So here, the virtue me, here the object me, the person or the sentient being you kill, right? If you kill human beings, the degree of consequences of karma is greater, right? If you kill animals, the degree is lesser, right? So for that reason, we have to decide, right? We have to decide. Even the Vinaya Pitaka, as a Buddhist-man, if I kill human beings, I will be expelled from the Sangha, the community of Sangha, Parajika, right? But if I kill animals, so that means I can, by confessing my wrongdoings in front of my brother monk, it will be cured, right? But in terms of Vinaya rules, but of course, the karmic consequences will come to me, right? So this is another thing. So I'm talking based on the Vinaya rules, right? But if I kill human beings, it is a number one offense. But if I kill animals, that is a level 5, right? Offense. So depending on the object, the degree of consequence will be different, right? Different. Then number two, the virtues. Even among the human beings, if you kill the people who are virtuous, it is more big. The consequences of karma is bigger, right? More serious. But if you kill less virtuous people, it's not a big deal. I mean, no, it's a bit deal, but compared to the virtuous person, what I may say. But of course, it's compared to the virtuous person, right? So, but even among them, but if you kill your parents, if you kill Arahant, the off, is greater, right? Is greater. For that reason, we have to look at the defilement as well. But for those among two people who has equal virtue or equal Sila, but someone has a more defilement than the other. If you kill less defined person, right? So actually the consequence will be bigger. So it depends on the defilement as well, right? So there are many conditions, And regarding with the effect, it is very interesting that in the Vinaya Pitaka, if you kill a very big animals, it is third level offense. But if you kill small animals, so that means depending on your effect the commentary said that you have to make a lot of effort to kill big enemies, right? Big enemies. So there are many conditions to decide, right? Regarding with the killing. So these are some of the examples mentioned in the commentary Attasalini, the commentary of the first Abhidhamma book, right? I think it's very easy. I mentioned with the page number. For those who are teacher, you can refer to that, right? You can refer to that. Any question? Okay. Can please use the microphone? Yeah.
One day we kill animals, the size difference makes a matter, right, between an elephant and ants. So
yeah.
when we kill human beings, large, medium size, any difference?
Regarding with the human beings, as I said, that the virtue, right, and also the defilement. So if you kill virtuous people, so it will entail great wrongdoings, right? So if you kill less virtuous people, less, not the size, but of course, if they have an equal virtue and equal defilements, the size, because the effect, right? Effect where your effect will determine, right? Determine your wrongdoings. Not only that, as I said, is the timing as well, right? Venerable Angulimala, he killed many people just before he became Arahant. But if he killed 3 lifetimes earlier, go to hell. Time, right? And also the place as well. Okay, so this is some of the things that you can consider, right, about killing. So I think if you learn all these one, I think it's very complicated, right? Very complicated. So if you know the soda that I quoted, number 1, you kill yourself. Number 2, you encourage other people to kill. And number 3, you approve and you give your consent or agreement to do that, right? So I think that is very important. Only 3. Just remember only 3, right? Okay. Very, very big topic. So I think it's good to know, I think, right? It's good to know that. So before I teach this topic, I think it is important to keep it in your mind. Buddhism do not go extremes, right? So normally, how to say, there are many conditions, right? So we cannot say suicide is good or bad, right? Suicide is good or bad. But it depends on a lot of conditions, right? There are a few cases, not only a few, many cases in the Pali Canon that the disciple of the Buddha as well as other people commit suicide, right? With the many reasons. It is mentioned in Sutta Pitaka as well as the Vinaya Pitaka. So if we learn Vinaya Pitaka, a lot of stories, there are many reasons, right? If we carefully study all these sources from the Pali Canon, then we can draw following conclusions. Actually, this is my own conclusions, right? If they may be wrong, right? They may be wrong. But then after learning all these sutta, my conclusion may change. So what I mean is, and one of the things about this sutta is that you can read the sutta by yourself, right? You don't need to believe me. For that reason, when I teach, then I give a lot of suttas. Before you come to the class, read the sutta, right? So I will not read all the sutta. So if I go very quick, you may not understand. So I encourage you to read before you come, right? Number one, suicide is not encouraged in Buddhism. Very important, right? That's number one, not encouraged. Not only for monks, but also lay devotees as well. Number one, very important, not encouraged. Number two, Buddhism obviously condemns suicide. But here is condition. If the suicide is motivated by anger toward yourself as well as others. Some people commit suicide because they hate other people, right? They sacrifice themselves under the name of religion. So actually Buddhism condemns such act if it is motivated by anger or hatred. Sometimes you may commit suicide because of hatred toward yourself. Sometimes we hate ourselves and we are angry toward ourselves. If you commit suicide motivated by anger, the Buddha condemns, right? The Buddha condemns. Later I will give you many sources because it's very important. Before we learn, I want to show my conclusions, right? It may be wrong, it may be right, but I think you can decide by yourself by reading the Sutta, right? Number three, very important, that I connected with the question. But if one commits suicide, not clinging to the body and life, it seemed to be, it seemed to be, no. It seemed to be a personal choice. If there's no clinging to your body, to your life, it seemed to be a personal choice. Actually, recently we have one example. One of the Australian scientists, right? He willingly, right? Willingly give up life. He doesn't want to. Actually, he is very active when he was alive. 104 years old, very old, right? 104 years old, and he believed that he doesn't want to live. But the laws in Australia does not allow him to do that. For that reason, he went to Switzerland, right, and commit suicide. Not suicide, euthanasia, right? Euthanasia or mercy killing, receive mercy killing, right? So it is very famous, right? Even in the Straits Times, most of the news is mentioned that he went to Paris. From Australia, he went to Paris, and he met with his family and said goodbye. Then he died in Switzerland. And he said that his life, he went to give birth. He don't want to live this life. He's very old, right? He has spent his life for a long time. So I think that if we look at the Pali, not look at his story, if we look at the Pali Canon, what I mean, right? It seemed to be a personal choice. So I think today we will learn some of the suttas. Okay. Number one, the monks from Vesali took their own life after hearing the Buddha's sermon on foulness of the body and attractiveness of the body. Sutta Nikaya, chapter 54, Sutta number 9, page number 1773. We are not reading this Sutta in details. I just explain important point from this sutta, right? So in this sutta, so the Buddha explained the foulness of the body. So actually in Asubha Bhavana, impure nature of the body is one of the meditation methods, right? So the Buddha suggested that for those who have full of defilements regarding with beautiful things, so they are suggested to practice this method, right? So in this way, their defilements and their lust is reduced. So in this way, it will help them to practice meditation. So here, the Buddha explained about an attractive nature of the body. Then after teaching that teaching, and he said that he will go for retreat, 2-week retreat, right? And he said that nobody is allowed to come. Only one person who brings the food, right? So that person is Venerable Ananda, right? So when the Buddha went to retreat, the monks, they think that the Buddha has praised the foulness of the body and impure nature of the body. I think they're trying to practice that method. Then after practicing Asubha Bhavana, so their mind became disgusted with their body, right? But here was said that being repaired, humiliated, and disgusted with this body, they sought for an assailant. So they trying to get a murderer, they let him kill, right? They let him kill. So that means they commit suicide. So within 2 weeks, many people commit suicide, right? Commit suicide. Then when the Buddha came back, and he saw a few people, only a few people, and he asked Venerable Ananda, now, actually, the temple is less monks. What happened? Right? According to commentary, the Buddha knew that. Knowingly, the Buddha asked the question. And Venerable Ananda said that, Bhante, after hearing your sermon, they committed suicide. For that reason, only a few people, a few months left. And he requested the Buddha to change meditation method. For that reason, the Buddha preached breathing meditation, right? Anapanasati. Actually, this is from Anapanasati Samyutta. So all the things about breathing meditations are mentioned here, right? So you can read the rest of the sutta as well if you are interested. It's very simple, I think easy to understand. One of the monks from Australia, Ajahn Brahmali, is a famous, actually he is famous for his learned in the Pali Canon. So whenever he go, he trying to encourage lay devotees to read the sutta, It's very beautiful, very beautiful. So simple that everybody can understand, right? For those who learn 1 year, and you can read the sutta by yourself. Most of the sutta you already learned, right? Even though we choose a few suttas, so if you read the rest of the sutta, linking each other, you understand right away, right? So I think I want you to encourage, just like Ajahn Brahmali, read the sutta. And Venerable Ananda said that it would be good, Venerable Sir, if the Blessed One would explain another method so that this Bhikkhu Sangha may be established in final knowledge. Here, final knowledge means becoming arahant, right? becoming Arahant. And the Buddha agreed to that, and he preached Anapanasati. But here it's important to know that the Buddha didn't criticize or denounce those monks. So what you did is wrong. He didn't say that, right? It's very interesting. For commentary explanations, read the note number 301 on page 1951. Later you can read, right? Later you can read. So in the note, the commentary mentioned that so those bhikkhus have committed some wrongdoing in their previous life. So they together, they are hunters. They kill a lot of animals. Because of that karma, so they need to exhaust their final karma, right? For that reason, anyway, whether the Buddha stay or the Buddha will take the retreat, they will commit suicide. But here, knowing that the Buddha preached the unattractive, impure nature of the body, so by practicing Asubha Bhavana and without attachment to their life, they commit suicide. So in this way, the commentary said that some of them are Puthojana, some are Sotapanna, some are Sakadagami, even Arahant, right? Commentary mentioned that. So without any attachment to their life, they commit suicide. Because of that, some go to heavens, some go to Brahmaram, like this, right? So knowing that he left the Bhikkhu Sangha and go to the forest, right? That is what the commentary said. The same account of those bhikkhus are mentioned in Vinaya Pitaka as well. But in Vinaya Pitaka, some of the monks, they commit suicide themselves, and some of the monks, they trying to kill each other, and some of the monks, they requested a passing, a Bhogat monks to kill them. So it is said that every day he have to go to the river and clean the night because a lot of blood. So according to Vinaya Pitaka, the same pattern, but in the Vinaya Pitaka, so the Buddha denounced those bhikkhus who committed suicide. But in Vinaya Pitaka, whoever commit wrongdoings, the Buddha normally use the word, one particular word, Mokkha Purisa, or good for nothing, or how to say, hollow monk. Hollow monk means useless person. A very strong one, Mokkha Purisa. Useless, right? So the Buddha normally use that word, Mokkha Purisa. But in this case, the Buddha didn't use that particular word, right? That particular word. It's very important to know that, right? Very important. So there, the Buddha denounced the act of suicide, saying that it is not appropriate, it is not suitable for monks. It is something that the monk shouldn't do. Akaraniya, right? Akaraniya. So the Buddha did not use Mokkha Purisa. It's very important, right? So then the Buddha laid down Vinaya rules. So if somebody kill sentient beings, any type of sentient, human beings, it entails parajika. For that reason, the Buddha laid down Vinaya rules for monks not to kill human beings. Killing human beings entails parajika. Here, parajika means expulsion from the Sangha. If you commit parajika, you no longer be a monk or nuns. you are expelled from the Sangha, right? So this is the biggest offense in Vinaya Pitaka, right? But later, a group of 5 monks, in Pali we call it Savagiya. So they are a very famous villain in the Pali Canon. In the Vinaya Pitaka, they committed a lot of wrongdoings. So because of them, the Buddha had to lay down a lot of rules. So here, one of the men is greatly ill, right? So those, a group of 6 monks, they heard that he's greatly ill. And they also know that his wife is very beautiful. And they think that if that gentleman dies, they can get that wife. For that reason, they approach that, that man and say that you have done a lot of good deed. If you die, you will go to heaven. That means praising death, right? You have done a lot of good deed. If you are suffering in human life, no use. It's better to die. If you die, you will go to heaven. By hearing praise of the dead, that gentleman, he trying to eat a lot. He doesn't care his head. So later, because of carelessness, he died. So when that person died, so his wife trying to denounce, trying to criticize those monks. So that news was reported to the Buddha. And the Buddha laid down a new additional Vinaya rules. If somebody encourage one person or anyone to die, that means praising the death, right? Also entail the parajika. This is additional rule. These additional rules. For that reason, we are not allowed to say to die, right? To die. 2015, I went to Indonesia. Then one of the small young boys, he brain dead, I think. Brain dead, I forgot one of the disease, fatal disease, going to die. But if they take out Maishi, that young boy, about 6 or 7 years old, the young boy, if they take out the Maishi, that boy will die. But his father loved him so much, and he doesn't allow to take out the Maishi. Actually, the daughter, they want him to decide to take out that Maishi because it's useless, right? For them, even though they keep running with the machine, the boy will not recover. For that reason, so they invited me and my teacher to go and visit. Actually, it's very sensitive, very sensitive. If we encourage to let go, no longer be, we commit parajika. So that's very important. For that reason, of course, we accept invitation. We go there and chant, and without saying anything, come back. Very serious, right? Very serious. Then I have shared one of the perform. One of the lady want to get suggestion from me that she got a baby with her boyfriend, and she how to say, she want to discuss with me and what she should do. Then I told her that we shouldn't. Actually, I am not in a position to give suggestion. You discuss with your mother, because it's very important for us. If we agree to abortion, no longer be a monk. So actually, she suggested, she want to get suggestion, advice from me. Because such case is very, how to say, not nice to discuss with other people, right? So for me, I do not say yes or no. I think it's better to discuss with your mother. So I did. So as a Buddhist monk, it's important, right? So we don't have to say it's better to die, right? Better to die. And I have shared, I think here I have shared that, so we, in our temple compound, we have two great masters. So one is the second vice chairman of the Sangha committee, and my teacher is not in the Sangha committee. And the vice chairman, he is prolonging his life with the help of machine, and it takes for some days. A group of daughters approached to my teacher, and they went to get advice from my teacher whether they should take out the machine. The my teacher, without saying anything, he go back to his room. Very important, very important. Actually, I learned from my teacher. Actually, I learned a lot of winner rules from my teacher. So, you know, he without saying anything, he go to the room. The daughter, they decided themselves, and at that evening, we heard that our master died. So, as a Buddhist mind, it's very important, right? Very important. For lay devotees, I think after learning all these one, you'll be able to decide, right? If you look at number 3, right? Personal choice. It seems to be personal choice. Then I think after learning all these sort of, you will understand that, right? You will understand that. Even here, in the Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha didn't renounce or criticize the act of suicide, right? The act of suicide, because they committed suicide not because of anger, right? Because of how to say, they don't want to get this life or no attachment to this life. For that reason, they committed suicide. Here, very, how to say, it's slight different between clinging to life and without clinging to life. So as I said that in the commentary said that, so they committed wrongdoing in their previous life. So they will surely commit suicide. But knowingly the Buddha preached Asubha Bhavana. The Buddha gave Asubha Bhavana. Then after practicing that meditation, they don't have any attachment to their life. Willingly they commit suicide. Just like a Australian professor, right? Australian scientist. He willingly and happily, and BBC give the title, he happily died. That means willingly, without attachment to life, right? Without attachment to life. Okay. So in the Vinaya Pitaka, so a monk who care human beings and give advices for killing or for commit suicide, and give a medicine for abortion, and give a method for abortion, and praise desirability of death, or just praise if you die you will go to heaven, like this. So it will entail parajika, right? So actually this is some example of the Vinaya Pitaka. If you read the Vinaya Pitaka, you will understand Buddhist attitude toward killing, right? So here I want to share some of the interesting story. Here, human being began the first conceit in the mother's womb, right? So according to Abhidhamma, we die right now, and right away we conceive in the mother's womb, right? So that means already there, right? Already there. So here we have to differentiate abortion and prevention, right? If you prevent, it doesn't entail any killing, right? Any killing. But if you use medicine after conception of the baby, it entails killing, right? Now I continue. The lady trying to commit abortion. Sorry to say that, but of course, I told her, you might kill a baby, but whenever Angulimala killed thousands of people, but he became arahant. You might commit abortion or killing, but don't think about it. But in future, don't that happen again. Trying to do good things, share the merit. So I'm trying to wipe out her regret and remorse. Trying to do good things. Don't commit such a things in future. Right? Here also the same thing, right? The same thing. So light began at the mother's womb, right? Then mercy killing, right? Later I will come back to this slide. According to here, so one of the monks, out of compassion, he prays the death. It will be better to die because he have out of compassion. You know that person is suffering. Out of compassion, he encouraged to die. Then he was suspected by himself, and the Buddha said that you committed parajika. Even out of compassion, we are not allowed to say, right? As a Buddhist monk. But actually, it doesn't. We are talking about based on Vinaya rules, right? We are not talking about based on wholesome and unwholesome deed. Sometimes we have to differentiate in this way, right? Sometimes the Vinaya rules and the law of karma, sometimes different, right? Sometimes different. Just want to learn the Buddhist perspective on killing, right? Buddhist perspective on killing. Here, one of the monks, he went to test, and he gave poison to the monk, to one of the monks, and that man drank that poison and died. And the Buddha said that you are not committing parajika. It is number 3, tonglechia. Because he no intention to kill, right? No intention to kill. But of course, some of them are very controversial issue. So the monks are not allowed to give medicine or the method for abortion, right? One of the monks went to the place where the criminals are executed. And he, out of compassion, he gave instruction to the executioners, give a one cat, so that they were not hurt, right? They were not with pain. Just give it one shot. The Buddha said that you commit parajika. Actually, Vinaya rules, right? Vinaya rules. So these are very interesting rules, right? Later I will show one interesting one. Number two. So here, a monk trying to commit suicide by jumping into a cliff. Luckily, he fall on the hunter. Not hunter, the one who is chopping the bamboo trees. So that gentleman died. The man is saved. Actually, he was suspected that he were committed parajika. The Buddha said no, because no intention, right? No intention. Incidentally, he fall on that gentleman, and luckily he died. But the Buddha said that you don't have to commit suicide. If you commit suicide, wrongdoing. But I think that this particular rule is very important. A little bit contradict with the previous one, right? Previous one. But here, if you commit suicide, if you do not die, wrongdoings, right? And then the last slightest offense. Question? You have a question? Slightest offense in the Vinaya Pitaka, right? The slightest one. Among with 7 Vinaya rules, so wrongdoing or dukkata is the last one, right? The last one. If you look at here, actually he is lazy to be. He doesn't want to stay as a Buddhist monk, and he committed. He jumped into the clique, right? He jumped down into the clique. If you look at this one, it's wrongdoing, right? Wrongdoing. Then you can read Vinaya Pitaka Volume 3, page number 82. Just for the scholar. Actually, sometimes I use Pali terms not for you, just for me, right? If I read the Pali, I'll be able to explain better, right? So I use, but this one also not for you, for the scholars. Maybe a few scholars here, for them I think it's easier for them to read, right? For that reason, I'm very grateful to 2 persons, especially 2 persons, Mr. Piyatam, he translated suttas, he translated a lot of suttas. It's very helpful for us, for the scholar, for the teachers. Another one is the Bhikkhu Astamika. Actually, his books are very, very helpful, even though some of the points I do not agree with him. So, but anyway, it's very, how to say, very grateful to them because of their references. So for you, may not be important. For those who want to teach, who want to read further, it's very important, right? Very important. It takes some time, an hour, to find out those references. It's not really easy. So earlier, I don't have a good version of the PDF, so I have to go and then I have to use index number and find out one by one like this, right? Okay, so this is it. If we look at this one, it seems to be a personal choice, right? Personal choice. The Buddha said that, wrongdoing, not parajika, right? But here, I think many of you know that we have some of the teaching from commentaries. It is some of the Buddhist teachers are teaching that if someone commits suicide, he will suffer 500 eons. It's not mentioned in the Pali Canon. Shouldn't believe in the. For that reason, it's very important. For that reason, I'm explaining and taking a lot of, So one of the, I don't know whether you have seen the movie called Little Buddha. Little Buddha, right? So in that movie, it's very famous one. How to say the directed by the Tibetan Buddhist monks. So in that video, it is mentioned that one person, one Brahmin, and he trying to kill a goat, right? A goat, and a goat make it 2 expression. First, he cried. Sorry, first he laughed. He laughed and he smiled. And second, he cried. The Brahmin asked, why you do crying as well as smiling? So the goat said that I have been suffer 499 lives because I cut one of the goat to the to the neck, right? Because of that unwholesome deed, then I suffer 499 lives. If I die right now, I will escape from that suffering. But I'm crying because after committing, after killing me, then you will suffer the same thing like me. That is a very, how to say, without any evidence from Pali Canon, from the commentaries, it is widespread. People believe the same thing. For that reason, they always say that do not commit suicide. If you suicide, you will suffer actually in Tiruvara more than that. If you commit suicide, you will suffer 500 eons. You know, 1 eon cannot count how many years, how many lives, lifetime. But it is mentioned in the Mahabharata commentary as well. A goat, he suffered as long as his, how to say that, feather, far, as far as his far, right? He killed a goat because of that. That goat suffered, right? As long as many lives as far, right? Far. So those are the concept that mentioned in the commentaries. It's not mentioned in the Pali Canon. For that reason, I'm trying to clarify using many soda, right? Very important, very important. Okay, so number 3, Venerable Pāṇā. He is praised by the Buddha and an excellent role model for missionary men. Sutta number Samyutta Nikaya, Sutta number 35, sorry, chapter 35, Sutta number 88. Page number 1167. Venerable Pāṇā, he approached to the Buddha and asked him for meditation method. And he said that he went to go to one place for meditation, to give meditation method. And the Buddha gave one meditation method. And the Buddha asked, where will you go after you asking meditation method? And he said that he will go to Sunapranda, the country called Sunapranda. Burmese believe that Sunapranda is from Myanmar. Actually, it is not so. It is a copy from Indian. Actually, it is situated in the India. Maybe most probably in. Actually, I forgot where it is. I thought that is near Bombay. Near Bombay. It's very far. And the Buddha said that Pāṇā, the citizens of Sunaprandas are very rough and very rude and very wild. Pāṇā, the people of Sunapranda are wild and rough. If they abuse you and revile you, what will you think about that? So they are very rude, very wild. If they abuse you and revile you, what will you do? And he said that I will think that it is good that they just revile and abuse me. but they do not give me a blow with the fist. And the Buddha said, if they give a blow to you, how will you do? And the Buddha, Venerable Buddha said that, I will think that they do not give me a blow with the rod. Now, when they give you a blow with the rod, what will you do? And Venerable Buddha said that they are good, they are excellent, but they do not stab. They do not stab me with the knife. They do not stab me with the knife. And the Buddha said, if they do so, what will you do? Then Venerable Buddha said that they are very good, they are excellent. They do not kill me with the knife. If they kill you with the knife, what will you do? Then Venerable Buddha said that this one. Venerable Sir, if the people of Sunabranda take my life with a sharp knife, then I will think. There have been disciples of the Blessed One who, being repaired, that's very important, being repaired, humiliated, and disgusted by the body and by life, sought for an assailant. If we look at this one, I think you can study the idea of killing, right? It is really frightening, right? It is really frightening to know that if you do not have any attachment to life, it's okay, right? It's okay. So if we study this Sutta, you will understand that there have been disciples of the Blessed One being repaired, accumulated, disgusted by the body and by life, sought for an assailant. So for that reason, it is important to practice letting go, right? Normally we have much attachment to our body, to our belongings, and to our surroundings. So I think it's important to practice letting go, right? In case something happens in our life, just like the Australian scientists, right? If you are willingly, happily, I'm not praising that. So sorry. sorry. It's not. I'm not praising that. We'll go to next one. Susa in Pali Canon, Gaudika Sutta. Venerable Gaudika fall away from temporary liberation of the mind. For 6 times he tried hard. He has a serious illness and he trying to meditate. Then he attained temporary liberation of the mind. So that means jhana. He attained jhana. Then he have a very big attack from his disease. Okay. So whenever he attained jhana, a temporary liberation of the mind, then his disease attacked him, and he fall down from the jhana state. And he tried again, fall down again, tried again, and that's 6 times. Actually, he think that if I die without any spiritual achievement, then I might go in samsara, going round and round. If we look at this background, actually we are not reading the Sutta, and you can read by yourself, right? So, without achieving any jhana state, any spiritual state, he might go, even he doesn't want to go to Brahma realm. His intention is to make the end of suffering, right? For that reason, he thought that if I die without achieving any supramundane level, then I might go in samsara, go around samsara. For that reason, he decided to commit suicide. Why? is in temporary liberation of the mind. He was a Puthojana when he took his life. Commentary said that. Actually, when you look at this Sutta, he was a Puthojana. Definitely he was a Puthojana. He attained final liberation using his pain as a meditation object before his death. So, according to the Sutta, he achieved temporary liberation of the mind. Then he fell down, he tried again, fall down, tried again. Then he decided to commit suicide by cutting his neck. Cutting his neck. Actually, it is normally they do like this, right? Cutting his neck. So, why he has a lot of pain? He used that painful feeling as a meditation object. Painful feeling arises, passes away, arises, passes away, arises, passes away. Knowing, arising, passing away, it is called vipassana. Before he died, he became arahant. He became arahant, right? Now, a villain called Mara came, right? He is looking for the soul of Venerable Gaurika without seeing any traces of soul or how to say consciousness. Actually, it's not a soul. Pali Canon say consciousness. He is finding consciousness where the consciousness of Venerable Gaurika took place, take a root, right? For those who do not become arahant, so their consciousness will take a new rebirth and a new existence, right? So here, the Mara is looking that where the consciousness of Venerable Gaurika took rebirth. So he couldn't form. The Buddha knew that actually he is not a form of a deva or actually just like a smoke, right? Just like a smoke. The Buddha knew that. So for that reason, the Buddha said two verses, a few verses. So these are some of the verses, interesting verses. That steadfast man was resolute, a meditator, always rejoicing in meditation, applying himself day and night without attachment even to life. Very important one. Without attachment even to life. Here, without attachment, we have two types of attachment. I think next week when we learn, we will learn a very important stanza from Tidakatha. If you learn these two verses, you will understand whether what is without attachment to life or attachment to life. If you don't want it, that's a type of attachment. If you want it, a type of kind of attachment, right? Later we will learn it. So here, without attachment even to life, having conquered the army of death, not returning to renew existence, having thrown off craving with its root, Gaurika has attained final Nibbana. The Buddha approved that he attained final Nibbana and became arahant, right? Became arahant. One more question, only one question, okay. Because time.
Just that I feel disturbed by knowing that monks commit suicide. For me, as a layperson, as a Puthujana, being introduced to this concept for the first time.
Sorry? See?
For me, a Puthujana,
okay,
being introduced to the concept for the first time, I find it very disturbing to know that monks commit suicide. And yet it's okay. You know, the fact that monks commit suicide.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing for a layperson to hear it for the first time.
You are second person to say like this. One of the students also same like this. But anyway, here we are studying the truth. But I think don't conclude only just looking 1 or 2 soda, right? Then after learning all these one, you will find a conclusion. Actually, before we learn all these soda, I make 3 conclusions, right? Not encourage suicide, and also condemns if you commit suicide with anger toward yourself, toward others, right? And also personal choice sometime, right? If you don't have any attachment to life, personal attachment, personal choice, it might be, it seem to be, right? I'm not saying definitely, it seemed to be personal choice. Here, the Buddha knew that. Actually, it is a, how to say, whether it is truth or not, we have to study. But if you believe that, such a how to say, if somebody commits suicide, he will suffer 500 eons, right? With such, how to say, attitude, if that person died, a lot of fear, right? A lot of fears will come. I believe that is very, how to say, controversial. And even when I read the book, What the Buddhists Believe, written by Kechuri Dhammananda, and he didn't discuss about this one because it's very controversial. But here, I just want to, I will go in detail so I think you should know it. You should know it. But of course, it is very, how to say, not a, how to say, we should know it, I mean, because we are dealing with such a incidences, right? Incidences. Okay, only the less, okay.
One thing I'm just trying to tell the sister is that, the scenario in this case here is because the monks are not attached to the body. So they mean the commit suicide is because they don't have any anger or any attachment to the body. So they just simply just want to go at that moment, you see. So in this case here now, it is not like we are lay people, we have this attachment to this body here.
I think if we look at the story of Australian scientists, I think I want you to read the story of Australian scientists. Just type Australian scientists commit suicide. Just type in Google. You read all the things, right? So if you look at the story of that person, I believe that he willing to do it. So this personal choice, right? So there may be personal choice. Some countries, many of the European countries, and some of the states in the United States, they agree to do that. But Singapore, Australia, many countries, they do not allow it. But actually, things are changing. Actually, some of the ideas in the Buddhism, actually, we have to look at all broadly. But in this case also, it's happening. The great debate in Australia and all over the world, right? Right. We should know it, Buddhist point of view, right? So for that reason, I'm trying to elaborate. I don't know what it is advisable to teach this topic. You are second one. So I think that of course it's really, sometimes totally different what we believe, right? But instead of knowing something from commentaries, better to know that, how to say them, from the sodas. It is safer, right? But some of the monks in Myanmar, if I say that Abhidhamma is not teachings of the Buddha, a bit shock for them. But for me, I know that Abhidhamma is not teachings of the Buddha, but I have a great value on them. Abhidhamma is very important and very valuable psychology and philosophy of Buddhist teachings. Then I have a great value on the Abhidhamma. So things that I see Abhidhamma and things that they see Abhidhamma are totally different, right? So what I mean is we should know, we should have a courage to know the truth, right? This is a, I think you can read the Sutta, right? But don't make a final conclusion just looking at these few Sutta. Later, next week we will learn, eh? Then you will know it better. Okay, thank you. Yo varatam bhavaro manu jesu sabyamuni bhagava kata kecho paragato bala viriya samangi Dan sukatam saranatamu pemi ragavi ragamani dhammasokan dhammamasankata mapatikulam Marurami mampagunan suvipatan Dhammami mansaranatamupe Yata jade nama apalamahu Chatu sisu puri sayugesu Hataja bogala dhammadasate Sangami mansaranatamu pemi Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good night everyone.